Hey, welcome back. It's Ali. In this video, I want to show you some examples of how different people and brands are using Instagram stories. So let's look at these examples and get inspiration before we start creating content for our own Instagram stories. And by the way, one thing I want to quickly point out, these social media channels like Facebook and Instagram, they do change from time to time. So a lot of features that we studied today, they will enhance these features or add more in the future, but the strategy, the tactic, once you understand those will always stay the same. So the first example I want to show you is my friend Anita Goodwin. So I want to flip through her Instagram stories. So simple video, she is just speaking to the camera. Look at that. And then she's using some stickers, some hashtags. So one of our goals is to create personal brands, and if that's your goal, create simple videos, share different tips and tricks and how to, and even the industry news with your audience so they can build a connection with you. The next example I want to show you is Pinload. So again, I'm gonna just click on their profile icon, which is right here, to play their story. And look at that. So really simple background, simple solid colors, and they're using text. And look at this. So here are the polls. So they're creating engagement by using different polls. Let me go back right here. Yes and not really. If you answered yes, please DM me your question. I want to know what you need help with. And then thanks. And now look at this. So this is actually one of their pins. So they are, look at the text at the bottom, buy it through their link in the bio. So they're tagging other accounts, which is right here. They're showing the product, and then the call to action is to go to that bio. Here's another example. So what I wanted to show you here is how they are, number one, creating engagement by using the polls. Number two, they're tagging other accounts. So they're driving traffic to other accounts. And then also they are trying to sell by putting a link in the bio right here. So once I go to that account, so let's actually do that. So I'm gonna click on this account, go there, and then they have a link in the bio which I can use to purchase that pin. And another thing we can learn from this account is it's an account about different pins. So they're using Instagram stories to showcase their products. And then look at this. So in this case, the best tiers for fears. And then they have a small poll here at the bottom, but then look at the last thing, swipe up to buy. So they're driving traffic directly from Instagram stories to their page. So let's see what happens once we swipe up. And I believe it's gonna take me to their product page. Look at that. So it's an account about enamel pins, and you can buy those pins here. Now the next example I wanna show you is my friend Jeff. And again, simple message here. His goal is to build a personal brand. So he is just speaking to the camera, really simple videos and nothing fancy, just sharing different tips and tricks and hacks and how-tos to connect with his audience. And then here's a behind the scene. I believe this is an event where Jeff spoke. So some behind the scene videos. The next I want to show you is Girl Boss. It's a great community page. So let's go through their stories. Let me actually go to the first one. So look at this. So they have a new look. I believe they upgraded their website, girlboss.com. So they're driving traffic from Instagram stories to the Girl Boss. And then here is they give a shout out to their CEO. And again, the see more button is driving traffic to their website or their blog. So they're really, I believe, they're using Instagram stories as small commercials to their blogs, and then they're driving traffic to those links. Here is a shout out to their COO. And again, the see more button is at the bottom. So if I swipe up, I believe I'm gonna go to either a blog page. Look at that, it is a blog article. Let's go back. Again, really, the concept of what we can learn from here is you can use Instagram stories to create mini commercial or tease your audience and then drive them to your blog or your website or your sales or landing pages. And then here is something really cool. So I call this behind the scene videos. So they're showing their team members having fun. That creates a lot of engagement with the audience. I believe that's a boomerang with the team. Very cool. Now, the next example I want to show you is my friend Justin, and his account is Hackapreneur. And again, very simple concept here. He does this really well. So his goal is to build a personal brand using Instagram stories. So again, just speaking to the camera, making simple videos, and then he puts some text overlays to give the context to his audience. And like we saw in the last video, if your goal is to build personal brand on Instagram stories, then sharing how-tos and tips and hacks and industry news is a really good way, because your audience can see you and they can connect with you on a different level. So many examples we can learn from. The next I want to show you an account called Goal Digger, and it's actually a podcast. And what I want to show you is, so they're using their Instagram story simple image, and it says new episode alert, swipe up. So they're using Instagram stories to promote their podcast. So they're driving traffic from stories to their podcast. The next example is the famous Chalene Johnson. So let's look at some of her stories. New podcasts on Build Your Tribe, how to monetize Facebook group, and then see more button. And again, same concept. She's using Instagram stories and really interesting and creative images and text overlay to drive traffic to her podcast. Here you go. I believe that's an image from iTunes, her podcast, and then swipe up to listen. And then here are some behind the scene footage. Really good way of building a personal brand with your audience. And now I want to show you the last one. I believe is an account called Glossier. Look at that. So let's look at their story. So they're creating some interest or surprise, an element of surprise. The first image in the story is just surprise. Let's see what the next one is. Here's a brand new phone wallpaper, swipe up. So guess what they're doing? This is a lead generation campaign. So once I swipe up, my guess is they're gonna ask for an email address so we can get that phone wallpaper. So let's swipe up. And look at that. How cool is that? So I hope you can see there are so many things, there's so many different type of content that you can create using Instagram stories, and they appear on the top of your home feed. You can, any business goal and objective that you can think of or imagine, you can drive or you can use Instagram stories to achieve that business goal or outcome. So these were some examples of how other people and brands are using it. I hope you got inspired. I hope you're really excited to create your own Instagram story content. I will see you in the next video.